Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 26, which helps you out with Double Game Week 27, Blank Game Week 28, Double Game Week 29 with minimal hits, and just helps you just load up on all the doublers and stuff. It's a really nice draft. I might actually activate my wildcard this week looking at this draft, but either way, I'll talk you guys through it. If you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, are you wildcarding this week, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, are you in a position to wildcard this week? There are multiple different reasons to why you should and why you shouldn't. If you already have like Brighton, Brentford players, double Newcastle, etc., there's probably no reason to wildcard because you can easily get through the doubles and the blanks with that option. If you're like me though, that has no Brighton, no Brentford, I've got just Trippier, I've got like Shaw still, I've still got Salah obviously because of the double that he's just had. I've got Kane who's blanking in 28. I've just got players that, you know, I'm not set up for the doubles. I'm not set up for the blank at all. I think with free transfers alone, I can probably hit like 8 players in Game Week 28, and that's with no doublers in 27 and very minimal doublers in 29. So for me, it just makes sense to wildcard. But again, if you already own players that are going to be doubling and are going to be fine for the blank, then you're fine. You know, I don't think FOMO really comes into play. Obviously, it is team dependent, and as everyone always does say, but it literally is. Like, a lot of people went heavy on Liverpool, and if you did, you're not in the greatest position now because they blank in 28, whereas if you didn't go on any Liverpool players, then you're probably in a better position. Anyway, though, this is the wildcard draft that I've put together, which I really like, and obviously, depending on fixtures tonight, because you still have Arsenal playing tonight, Liverpool playing tonight, United playing, City playing, Spurs playing, like there's a lot of teams still to play tonight, so obviously like, hold off until all those fixtures have been played. But this is the wildcard draft that I've come up with, and I'll talk you through it and everything like that once we've gone over it. But either way, in goal we do have Kepa and Sanchez. A lot of people would want to go for Raya instead, but there's a reason that I've not gone for Raya. But these two, very, very cheap. Obviously, Sanchez doubles in 27, doubles in 29, and then Kepa plays in 28, so you're absolutely fine there. You can have them for your bench boost as well, because they're both double in 29 if you are wanting to bench boost, which I think if you wildcard now, you're probably looking at bench boosting in 29 because you're setting your team up to get like the maximum kind of points over the next few game weeks. So I think a bench boost is pretty much on the cards if you are doubling, if you still have that chip left. So yeah, Kepa and Sanchez alternate really, really nicely with each other. And even when Sanchez has like Spurs in game week 30, you've still got Kepa who's got Wolves away. So it's still like you're fine in the goalkeeper front over the next few game weeks. So those are the goalkeepers. The back line, we've got Botman, we've got me, we've got Henry, Gabriel, and we've also got Trippier as well. So that's your kind of reason for no Raya, because you've got double Brentford defense. And the reason for that is just simply because in game week 28, if you have Raya, you're not going to be able to field like a full 11 because obviously you'd probably have a Brighton defender instead of a Brentford player, and they're blanking in 28. So the reason that I've gone a Brentford defender over Raya is just simply so you have 11 players playing in game week 28, if that makes sense. This is basically just allowing you to maximize the wild card, really. So that's why we've gone against Raya, but Raya is still a really nice option, but at the same time, it'll stop you from being able to field 11 players. So yeah, Botman and Trippier, obviously, you'd probably, I guess, bench one of them this week when they play City. I'd probably play Trippier, I guess, but I would not play both. You could play double Brentford defense if you wanted to this week. They've got Fulham at home, but if you weren't really feeling too confident about a clean sheet for Brentford, then yeah, you could just play Trippier, Ben Mee, and Gabriel this week. I've gone Gabriel, who's got Southampton this week, of course, doesn't blank in 28, doesn't have any doubles coming up, but at the same time, obviously Arsenal's defense is really, really good. You could go Reece James over Gabriel, which of course would be another player for game week 28 and also the double in 29. So you could do that if you really wanted to, but you would lose that Arsenal defense for Bournemouth at home, when of course if they do keep a clean sheet, which they're most likely going to, it's going to really hurt your rank. But again, you could go Reece James if you wanted to. It saves you a transfer down the line and it gets you an extra doubler in 29. So that's completely up to you, but they both don't blank in 28. So it's generally, do you want the Bournemouth fixture now, or do you want the double? I mean, obviously you could go from Gabriel to Reece James later, but there's another reason that I've kind of gone Gabriel over Reece James, which again, we'll talk about later on. So yeah, that's the back line. And there's also 7.7 mil in the bank in this draft, which could make you kind of think twice about it, just simply because when you're on a wild card, you've got 7 mil in the bank. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of spare cash. But at the same time, it's just how this season's gone. Like, you don't have to spend all your money. I mean, Rashford, arguably one of the best players in the world at the moment. He's only like 7 mil, you know, he's like playing as Salah did like last season, and Salah was obviously like 12 mil, but just because he's got a lower price tag doesn't mean that he's not going to get less returns. Like, it's just how it's gone out this season. Anyway, that's the back line. In midfield, we've got Ødegaard, Saka, McAllister, Rashford, and Mitoma. Now, of course, instead of McAllister and Mitoma, you could have March. I think I prefer March. He's just obviously flagged at the moment, so that's kind of why I've gone Mitoma and McAllister. We do have to wait for the Brighton press conference. If the Brighton manager does say that March is going to be fine, then I probably would opt for March instead of potentially McAllister, but McAllister's kind of playing in that number 10 role more now, so maybe I'd even go March over Mitoma. But either way, that's just kind of one of the differences that you can pick for yourself. You know, there's no right or wrong answer between March, McAllister, and Mitoma. They've all got good numbers over the last few weeks. I think McAllister playing in that number 10 role is a little bit more beneficial, also on penalties as well, so that's obviously really, really nice. But at the same time, March's number's been really, really good as well. So again, it's one of those, you just pick it yourself and then hope that you make the right decision. Rashford's obviously in this draft, you can't get rid of him. And then Ødegaard and Saka, just for the fixtures coming up, both do not blank in Game Week 28 either. Up top, we do have Haaland, Tony, and Watkins. So Haaland, obviously, you could get rid of Haaland if you really wanted to, but I think it's going to hurt you too much. I think he's going to go big against like Crystal Palace. Also in Game Week 29, I think you could easily rip Liverpool apart as well. Watkins is just there just because, you know, doesn't blank in 28, has a really nice fixture in 28 as well. On penalties, and then also doubles in 29. Doesn't have the greatest double, but I think he can still score in any game. He's in really good form at the moment. And then Tony is a bit of an issue right now. If you didn't see the news last night, basically he's I think he's pleaded like guilty for some of the charges, but not all of them, for the gambling thing. So he very well could get banned soon, and if that is the case, then he's not going to be playing. So hopefully we find out more information about that. But I guess if you're wildcarding now, you're just going to have to bite the bullet and either go with him. Of course, there are other Brentford players you could go instead, like Mbeumo or whatever, who's cheaper. Maybe will be on penalties if Tony's not playing. But again, you have to kind of understand the idea that if you are wildcarding this week, you can't be shocked if Tony does get banned, because I think that that's now taken a massive step forward. If he gets banned after Game Week 29, you're loving life, because then you can easily just get rid of him, and you've got him for like the doubles and the blanks. So that's obviously really, really nice. But again, worst case scenario, and he does, for whatever reason, well, whatever reason, we all know he's guilty, obviously, but if he does get banned, then Mbeumo could come into the team, which, of course, saves you a lot more money. He goes up to 9.5 mil in the bank, but again, that's just something you'd have to think about doing. That's the only spanner in this kind of draft. I feel like if Kane... if Spurs lose tonight, which, again, they're very unlikely to, and I think Southampton also have to lose for them to not blank, that would be the perfect scenario, because then instead of Tony, you could go like Kane or something if you want it to be a little bit more safer, who doesn't double but does have some really nice fixtures coming up, very, very consistent as well. So anyway, that's another choice you kind of have to make. But anyway, if this is the wild card you go with, obviously you roll in 27 because you set up for 27. 28 is the blank, and so you'd have 2 free transfers for Game Week 28. That's another kind of positive for wild carding now and not in 27. You have 2 free transfers for the blank going forward. So yeah, if I was going to wild card this week, which again I very much most likely will, because my team is not set up for the next few game weeks at all. So yeah, I'd roll in 27. Then in 28, I'd get rid of Mitoma and I'd bring in Maddison if he's, you know, fit, which he should be, who obviously doesn't blank in 28. So I'd have Maddison there, and then that'd allow me to field 11 players, because I'd play Kepa, I'd play this back line, I'd play Ødegaard, Saka, and Maddison, and then I'd play Tony and Watkins, and obviously my bench would be Rashford, McAllister, and Haaland. So you're getting into Game Week 28 there with a full 11 players. You don't have to worry about any hits or anything like that, and you still have a free transfer in the bank as well, which is really nice, because then you go into Game Week 29, where you would have 2 free transfers again, because obviously you only used 1 of them in Game Week 28, and so for that, I'd probably get rid of... Gabriel and bring in somebody like Luke Shaw, who of course doubles in 29, and then I'd probably get rid of Ødegaard as well, and obviously lose some of those Arsenal players, but I'd get rid of Ødegaard and I'd bring in Fernandes, and then I'd have how many doublers in Game Week 29? So I'd have 1, I'd have 2, yeah, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you'd have 13 doublers, and then you could just bench boost, because then your bench would consist of I guess, Saka and Haaland. Like, the only players that you own that aren't going to be doubling are Haaland and Saka. And those two have, you know, obviously Saka has a really nice fixture. Haaland can do anything to anyone. He's got Liverpool at home. I think he could easily score a lot in that game. So yeah, in Game Week 29, you then have all those doublers. You can bench boost then. And then in Game Week 30, obviously, that's where, you know, things will probably start getting tricky. But the good thing about this is you also save your free hit. So you can just use that in, like, blank Game Week 32, which, again, is a really good option because there's going to be a lot of teams blanking in that week. And then you can just use your free transfers to kind of optimize your team for Game Week 34, should I say, which is another double, I do believe, and then 37 as well. So that is the kind of direction you'd be taking with this draft, which I really like the idea of. Obviously, the only hiccups in this is the fact that Tony could be banned. You could bring in Mbuemo if he does get banned, but I don't know if you're going to find out that information before the deadline. So you could bite the bullet and go with it. If he does end up getting banned, you'd obviously have to take a hit to take him out or bring in anybody else, really. There's a lot of really good options. You could even bring in, like, Iheanacho or something if he does get banned for obviously Leicester, but that'd have to be for Game Week 29. So you'd probably have to take a hit, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, it's something you'd have to do. But that all depends on what happens with Tony. But either way, this is the wildcard draft and how it's set up for Game Week 26, 27, 28, and 29. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on it. I really like it. I think I'm going to go with it. But of course, I'm not going to make any concrete decisions until after the games tonight, because, you know, if there's some more upsets tonight, anything else could happen. You know, there could be injuries tonight. You know, if, like, Saka got injured tonight, I would definitely wildcard because he's one of my he's one of the best players in my team right now. But again, you don't know. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's video. Like I say, let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know if you're wildcarding. Has it changed your kind of perception on wildcarding this week? Again, you only really need to do it if you have literally no Brighton, no Brentford, barely any players playing in Game Week 28, which I have. So that's why I'm more inclined to do it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.